This your boy Carl coming back from Golden Grimmett Productions. This time around, we are going to be doing the best Larry Bird versus Michael Jordan story ever told. Now, disclaimer: I never got a chance to see Larry Bird play. I did have the chance to watch Michael Jordan play when I was 9 years old. Um, by default, he is the original copy of my favorite player, Kobe Bryant. Basically the same player, different teams. Jordan just did more. That's all I can say. But in this one though, we are going to be highlighting Larry Bird versus Michael Jordan, one of the few players that Michael Jordan never beat. You know what I'm saying? Or at least, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. If he had to, no, okay. Well, if you are new, please like, share, and subscribe to the video. It's greatly appreciated, bro. Thank you so much. It has been a great journey so far. We're going to continue pumping out these bangers and reacting to these videos. Continue to drop those comments of what series you want to see me do next. I'm enjoying it. It's been fun. And let's get to that video.
NBA Hall of Famer James Worthy, who played against both Michael Jordan and Larry Bird, said, "I'd much rather play against Michael Jordan than Larry Bird. Jordan made you look slow, but Bird made you look stupid. Look, I'm not here to convince you that Larry Bird is better than Michael Jordan. I'll just present to you the facts and let the NBA legends who actually played against both of them tell you what they think."
People always ask me, who's the hardest player I've ever had to guard? And there was Michael Jordan, George Gervin, the late, great Mike Mitchell. I mean, so many players. I always say Larry Bird. And I say this for the reason because when Michael passed the basketball, he kind of hung on his shorts and he sit off to the side. With Larry, when he passed the basketball is when he became more dangerous. He was either setting a pick, coming off a pick, catching the ball, passing the ball. So he was the one you always had to stay attentive to the whole 24 seconds of that offensive play for the Celtics. And you know what? Oh, he's going to get offensive rebounds. He was going to.
Okay, I like this tape because it breaks it down, because a lot of people like Jordan for his offensive and for the most part his defensive game. But what he said spoke volumes, because when you think about what when you break down what he said, basically when Jordan got rid of the ball, he was off in the cut, chilling. So Jordan really didn't have, from what I'm taking from this, he didn't have too much off-ball movement. Versus Larry, it was more so a play within a play. So like if he's going to the rim, it might not even be for him to score, touch pass, or he might catch it in the lane, auto touch pass, or he's setting a pick. Okay, so it seems like Larry was doing more in the play, maybe setting somebody up, maybe backdoor screen, like a backdoor screen comes, some sort of that realm, and he would be but just like the facilitative aspect of Larry. He was a facilitator and he was team first. So he was always looking for his teammates, but he had the ability to just go if he needed to.
To do something to help his team have the best chance of scoring at that point. So I always say as him, he didn't need the basketball to affect the game.
To the untrained eye, Michael Jordan was light years better than Larry Bird simply because his scoring numbers were better. But in actuality, it was much closer than that because Bird affected the game in so many ways.
I saw Larry Bird one night in Phoenix. They were losing big time at the half. And they come out in the third quarter, and Larry did not take a shot, but dominated the game. He had 7 assists in the third quarter, and they came back and won the game. He could affect the game without taking a shot. Who else can you say that about to that degree? Nobody. Michael could never do that. Never. Michael had to have the ball.
Here's a 1986 magazine.
And I think that's what makes Magic and Larry different from Jordan and Kobe. The ball had to be in Jordan and Kobe's hands basically for them to be effective. Versus Magic and Larry, they could get the teammates in the game. They could be affected by playing the passing lane, playing defense, rebounding. When we know Jordan and Kobe for their offensive prowess, their ability to, like, but it's more to the game than just scoring. And Larry did that better than anybody.
On the NBA. And remember, this is a league with Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Charles Barkley, Isaiah Thomas, Hakeem Olajuwon, Moses Malone, and Dr. J. And in a league with all of these all-time great players.
We got to stop this that they didn't play nobody. Even when they talk about Jordan, like we got to stop that. We got to stop the narrative that they didn't play anybody. You see these players that are who are on the screen currently. Like, all of them are Hall of Famers. All of them have rings, except for Charles Barkley, unfortunately. But do Moses Malone? Yeah, I think Moses Malone got one with do we? I gotta check into that. But we gotta stop this narrative, bro, that they didn't play nobody. Oh, it was a week. Oh man, bro, almost every team had a Hall of Famer. This was before really, like, you didn't see people hopping ship like that. Like, we gotta stop this, bro. Like, it's too many people saying, "Oh, who did they play? Who did they play?" Bro, it was too many dogs out there, and defensively, yeah, they might have needed to change the rules based off of how physical it was. But bro, the bad boy Pistons are the reason for that.
Players, everyone agreed that Larry Bird was the best because in 1984, 1985, and 1986, Larry Bird won MVP back to back to back. And in the 1986 playoffs, Larry Bird finally faced Michael Jordan head to head. And in game 1, Michael dropped a spectacular 49 points. But Larry Bird had an all-around game with 30 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals.
And I would take that stat line over 48 anyway, because he affected the game everywhere, all around the board. Like assists, rebounds, points. He was affecting the game. That 30 probably meant way more than Jordan's 40 plus.
To lead the Celtics to a victory. By game 2, MJ had a revelation.
And this is game 2 of the best-of-5 first-round action, and the Celtics will try to make it 2 in a row over the Bulls.
We really have to play a complete basketball game. I don't think one man can beat the Boston Celtics.
But he sure did try. Because Jordan turned on God mode and broke the record for the most points ever scored in a playoff game.
Lead in the first half of the game against the Celtics Thursday. Jordan trying to fake Bird, can't do it. Hits the jumper, but Bird played pretty well defensively against Jordan.
I know we started Dennis Johnson out on him, and then we went with Danny Ainge, myself, then Bill Walton, and we was trying to run him to help all the time, but he had his outside shot going so well that he really didn't need to penetrate that much.
Jordan hits it, 56 for Jordan, and that ties the Chicago Bulls all-time leader. Jordan with 8 on the clock. Jordan ties the game.
Oh, boy.
63 points, and you're looking at an all-time record.
Oh, boy.
Michael Jordan.
But it was an incredible playoff performance. I've never seen it before, and I had never seen it after. That wasn't Michael Jordan out there. It was God disguised as Michael Jordan.
But Larry Bird left with the most important statistic of all, the W.
10 on the clock. Bird, pick and roll parry.
And see, even in that moment, bro, he was affecting the game. He drew the double team just to kick it out to Parrish, or to kick it to Parrish for the shot that basically won the game. So he assisted on the play that won them that game, which that you can't, come on, bro. Like, points are good, but he commanded a lot of attention.
Victory for the Boston Celtics to take a 2-0 lead over Chicago in their best-of-5.
Michael Jordan didn't beat Larry Bird. You showed Michael Jordan going between his legs one time in the highlights, against Larry Bird. And that was the game he got 63.
That's when he dropped 63 on Bird. Yes.
But if memory serves me correct, they got swept. No, not lost. They got swept. Okay?
Bro, Isaiah Thomas hates Jordan, bro. Like, you could tell by how he talk about Jordan. But Isaiah got to cut it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all these years done passed by, bro. Let that go, bro. Let that hurt go, big bro.
That's true.
Even though he dropped 63, we stepped all in his ass, did we not? I rest my case.
Larry Bird went on to win his third championship that year. And the following year, when Larry faced MJ in the playoffs, it happened again.
Side. Larry Bird against Banks, rubs him around a Perry screen, drives it down the lane, and lays it in with a right hand. Michael Jordan with 30 points in this game, so he was 30 or better in all 3 playoff games. Bird's got 31 in the game and 14 in the fourth quarter. Bullseye. Boston has kept it in good hands in the fourth quarter. It's been Bird, and that's about it. Final score in Chicago Stadium. The Boston Celtics sweep the Bulls out 105-94. Too much Celtic talent, too much Celtic experience for a Bulls team lacking in both areas.
Yes, Larry Bird in back-to-back years swept Michael Jordan in the playoffs. So if Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time, but Michael Jordan never beat Larry Bird, then what does that make Larry Bird? Now, to be fair.
Okay. The only thing that I want to say about that in that regard is I would have loved to see Larry Bird's Celtics at the height of their prime with all of their legends against the Bulls team at the height of it. We all know for a fact Jordan's team just wasn't like it was equivalent to what they said about Larry Bird's team against Magic's team in college. One player who's amazing, phenomenal, dragging the team along with really no help. No excuses, though. No excuses. Jordan got swept back-to-back years. It is what it is. But I would have loved to see them both at the height of their primes play each other. Like similar like how we seen Magic versus, you know what I'm saying, Larry, height of their primes, best teammates, fireworks. Jordan didn't have his team yet, which if you make that claim he's the greatest of all time, you can't take away certain aspects of his career to make your point. He got swept. It was 8 years before he actually won a title. He didn't win any titles. Well, the only title he won against one of the two was against Magic, and that was in 91. But he never beat Bird to go on, you know what I'm saying, to get to that title. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying?
At that point, Michael Jordan didn't have his best teammate ever, Scottie Pippen, yet.
As I just said.
When Scottie Pippen arrived, the battles were closer and more intense. And later in the video, I'll let you see exactly what happened when Larry Bird faced a prime Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Because Larry Bird did something so miraculously impressive, no other man in the history of basketball can say they've done. But after Bird swept Jordan back-to-back years in the playoffs, that very next year in 1988, Michael Jordan had statistically the best season ever, where he won the scoring title at 35 points per game, the steals title, the MVP, the defensive player of the year, the All-Star Game MVP, and the dunk contest. He faced Larry Bird 4 times that year, and this is how it went. Game 1, tough battle, Bird wins. Game 2, MJ has a historic 50-point game to win by 10. Game 3, Larry's revenge. After that previous loss, I'm sure Larry Bird had that rematch circled on his calendar because he ended up with 33, 8, and 7 and blew MJ out by 30 points. Game 4, MJ had an impressive performance with 39 points and 8 assists, but Larry Legend had 44 points and 10 rebounds, but most importantly, a win versus Michael Jordan in his statistically best season ever. And though Michael Jordan didn't face Bird again that year in the playoffs, Jordan did face Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Pistons. And I'll let Isaiah Thomas tell you exactly how he recalls that year and the rest of the 80s.
So Michael Jordan in the 80s, the best year that he had was he was the MVP of the league and the defensive player of the year. I believe that was in 88.
Yes.
We
88.
beat them 4-1. I'm gonna say that again. 4-1. They won one
May I
game,
respond?
Stephen A. And he never beat Larry Bird. He never beat Magic and Kareem. He never won. And all I'm saying is in the 80s, what I remember in the 80s, it was Philadelphia with Dr. J, Magic, Kareem, Bird, Michael Jordan. He was a non-factor.
A non-factor. Is this your GOAT? But after Isaiah Thomas swept MJ, he did go on to beat Larry Bird in 6 games. And many people touted the Detroit defense for holding Larry Bird to under 20 points per game. But what many don't include in that story is that Larry Bird was noticeably injured with painful bone spurs in both feet. So only because of injuries, for the first time in 5 seasons, Larry Bird would not make the NBA Finals. Starting the following year, Larry Bird had season-ending surgery on both feet after playing only 6 games. But sadly, it only got worse because that following offseason, Larry Bird broke his back and was never the same again. But even as Larry Bird's entire body betrayed him, for some reason, he always played well against Michael Jordan, almost like he had a personal vendetta against Jordan. And I think I know why. When Michael Jordan was in college, he actually played an exhibition game against Larry Bird. Jordan and a bunch of college players, while preparing for the 1984 Olympics, faced Larry Bird and a bunch of NBA stars. The goal was to toughen the college kids up before they headed to the Olympics. So during pre-game warm-ups, when Jordan chased the loose ball to the other end of the court, Larry Bird picked the ball up. But instead of handing it to Jordan, Bird kicked the ball over Jordan's head to the opposite end of the court. And I guess you could say Michael Jordan took that personally.
Now look at my, really? Oh, so that's how you're gonna play it. You gonna do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Michael Jordan dominated that game. A young Michael Jordan actually carried a team full of college players past a prime Larry Bird and a bunch of NBA players. Michael Jordan won the battle, but Larry Bird won the war.
Okay. I've rarely ever seen anybody talk about that game. I've never even heard of that game. So a college Michael Jordan beat him in? College level Michael Jordan beat him in ooh. Oh, that's new. I don't never hear about that. Learn something new every day.
I think Larry Bird took that loss personally because Jordan never really got the best of Larry Bird ever again. When Larry Bird finally returned to the court after missing basically an entire season with foot surgery and a back injury, he faced prime Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen in a regular season game. The teams went back and forth.
Bagley against Paxson, 10 on the shot clock. Jordan on Bird. Quick feed into Jim Paxson for the layup. Larry Bird has KO'd the read. Jordan the steal. Scottie Pippen ahead to Jordan. Michael for the dunk. Bird against Pippen. Bird working on Pippen one-on-one. Hits the fadeaway.
And with 10 seconds to go, it was a tie game. The Celtics had the ball, and the Bulls put their 2 best defenders, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, both on Larry Bird because everyone knows who the ball is going to. And then this happened.
Let's see if they wind it all the way down. Inside of 10 seconds. Bird low. You can't double yet. Now you can quickly. Bird's jumper, good. 3.6 seconds left. Larry Bird gives the Boston Celtics a 2-point lead.
Everybody in this building had to know it was going on. Michael came over to help out. Celtics lead with 3.6 seconds here, 102 to 100.
A game-winning shot while being double-teamed by both Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, 2 of the best defenders of all time. Somehow the word clutch doesn't even begin to describe the greatness of Larry Bird when the game was on the line. But maybe a quote from NBA Hall of Fame coach, executive, and former player Pat Riley can explain. In an interview, when comparing Larry Bird and Michael Jordan's clutchness, Pat Riley said this iconic quote, "If I had to choose a player to take a shot to save a game, I'd choose Michael Jordan. If I had to choose a player to take a shot to save my life, I'd take Larry Bird." As Larry Bird was on his last...
I don't know what to say, bro. We're going to keep going.
legs, and Michael Jordan was starting his dynasty in 1991, Larry Bird mustered up enough strength to battle MJ again in one of the last great duels between the two.
Gamble came up with the steal.
Here's Bird. Yes. He was met on a switch by Jordan, and they're 69, Chicago 67. Jordan eluding a triple team. Reggie Lewis. Larry Bird.
This battle between two all-time greats came down to the wire. In overtime, it was a tie game with 0.4 seconds on the clock, and the Chicago Bulls had the ball.
Pippen now will look to throw in. 0.4 of a second. And here it is, Jordan with the flame. Yes! But it's waved off. Will not count. Mike Mathis said no. Did not beat the clock.
Ooh, he almost had it. After Jordan's possible game winner was waved off, Larry Bird, on 4 straight possessions in double overtime, did this.
Jordan.
It's great to hear all these coaches talk about they're really concerned as Bird hits a little fadeaway. They're really concerned about the minutes building up. They want to be fresh going into the playoffs until the game.
Overtime number 2. Bird. Yes. Larry Bird heating it out to go in the second overtime. Bird with the fake through the foul and hits. .45 to go in the second overtime. Bird fires. Yes.
The crowd couldn't help but chant the name of the greatest player of all time.
Shook his head and said, "This guy's too much."
And the chant of Larry. Dee Brown beat John Paxson off the pitch. And the second overtime, and that will do it. The Boston Celtics in double overtime have defeated the Chicago Bulls 135 to 132 in a wild one.
The Celtics held on to win that game, but that year, Michael Jordan won his first championship versus Magic Johnson in the finals, and his dynasty had officially begun.
Larry and I were talking, and Michael walks in, and he says, "There's a new sheriff in town." And we both hit each other like, well, he's not lying.
Larry Bird retired after that next season, but not before he took the court with Michael Jordan one last time. Except this time, it would be on the same team in what many would call the greatest team ever assembled, the 1992 Dream Team.
And rebounded by Jordan.
Perez may have realized that may be his best opportunity to get an open look in transition.
Magic with the pass that misfired. Jordan with the behind-the-back save. Here's Bird. Yes.
And you just knew that Larry Bird was not going to miss that shot after the great save by Michael Jordan.
Larry, I hear that you're retiring. Thank goodness. I'm glad. I'm tired of seeing your face. Well, a lot of sad memories to me, but You know, I enjoyed you tremendously. I wish you a lot of luck, and I think you had a very wonderful career, even though you probably ruined a lot of my successful games against the Boston Celtics. And I'll see you somewhere along the road, somewhere playing golf.
Even though he dropped 63, we stepped all in his ass, did we not? I rest my case.
Hey, yo. Their Bird was putting Jordan in the torture chamber, boy. That's crazy. Hey. It's unfortunate that Magic had to take an L to him, to Jordan, but Larry said, I'm not going, bro. You're not finna do that to me. But this has been a good video, bro. I really appreciate the suggestion for this one as well. Thank you so much. I'm probably gonna do a making the case. I don't fully know yet. They just showed LeBron on the screen, but I'm gonna say that for down the line. He a current player, so I'm not gonna. I'm focusing on the old school players right now. I might do one on Hakeem. I'm not fully sure, but it's been your boy Carl from Golden Grimmett Productions. Until the next one.